Adam Wainwright here in the booth, Rick Horton as well. And Adam, first and foremost, let's get right to it. How you feeling?
I'm feeling very good. Every day I wake up, I feel a little bit better, and come to the park and feeling strong. I've got my full range of motion. Everything's going really, really well. Are
you playing catch?
Starting Monday.
So starting Monday is a big day.
Starting Monday. I'm excited. I'll feel like a baseball player again.
And what does playing catch mean? Are you just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or what's the plan?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. Of course, I've never done this before, so I don't know the protocol, but all I know is we're probably going to start slow and ease into a more extensive throwing program.
Chris Carpenter's on the mound here tonight, and he is dealing so far. Shane Victorino is the hitter. The Cardinals have a 5-run lead. Good to see some run support for Carp here tonight. We're in the top of the 4th, and our guest is Adam Wainwright. I know, speaking on behalf of Cardinal fans, it's been frustrating not to be able to watch you. I can only imagine what it's been like, the frustration for you to watch the games and not be able to be a part of it.
Well, it's frustrating, but at the same time, they've played so well all year long that it's really taken kind of the burden away from me. I mean, I've had so much fun coming in here every day watching these guys pitch and play ball. I've been rooting for them hard when they're on the road too. So, I feel like I'm hanging on every pitch. I've said that a few times, but I really, you get a lot of time to really watch the game when you're on the road, when the team's on the road.
Well, I was about to ask you that. What have you learned about not being able to play the game? And I'm not saying about you have something you love taken away from you, and you know that you love the game of baseball as you see the play here by Terrio. But what have you learned this year to improve next year as a pitcher and as a baseball player just by watching?
Well, one thing I've learned is how much I love baseball, and I think that's the most important thing that I've learned. Of course, I haven't got out there throwing and tinkering with new pitches and stuff like that yet, but I've learned just how fun baseball is and how much you miss it when you can't play. And I feel like I'm in the prime of my career. I really feel like I'm coming of age as a pitcher, and then I take an injury like that. But you know what? I had an incredible sense of peace about it. The team's lifted me up and made me feel very welcome even through all this and my struggles. So I'm trying to be a good teammate, try to be a good cheerleader, and that's really my role, to be a good cheerleader. But I've really, the thing I've learned the most is how much I love baseball and how much I can't wait to get back out there.
Do you see anything that you could do differently as a baseball player between the white lines? Technically, anything that you see that some of these guys are doing, whether it be in opposition or guys on your team that you say, yeah, you know what, I never noticed that before. I should take that away and maybe incorporate that into what I do.
Well, it's been
anything.
It's been fun to watch the two Philly pitchers the last day and Kyle Loesch pitch last night. They both
hasn't been fun for your teammates.
Well, you know what though, it's from a baseball perspective. It's been fun.
Right.
What I like about Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay and what Kyle Loesch did too is that they throw all their pitches on both sides of the plate, and so a hitter really never knows what's coming, and they don't know what's coming to which location. So I mean I really like that. And maybe you try to be you don't want to trick them too much because you want to stay with your strengths, but there's little ways like that you can incorporate new things in your game.
One of the things I want to ask you about, Adam, and you may have heard me say this because I know you follow the games and are listening and to all the telecasts when the team's on the road. And one of the things I said early on is when a player's hurt like you, clearly they miss you. You know they do. You're being a good teammate. They're trying to be a good teammate to you. It doesn't often work to have somebody who's on the disabled list being around. And I said that if anybody could do that, it would be Adam Wainwright. And I guess I want to get at what some of those struggles could be like to be a guy who's actually in it, but not really. Mm-hmm. And you know what that feels like. And I'm just wondering if you had any doubts about whether this was the right thing to do or not early on.
I didn't, and I'll just continue to show up and be here for this team until they tell me otherwise. I've really never had a second thought about being here. I feel still like I'm a big part of this team. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'll be a big part of this team for years to come. So I feel like just from a personal standpoint, I'll lose something, and hopefully the team will lose something by me not being here.
Mm-hmm. Adam, we've talked about this a lot too. Everybody on this rotation has had Tommy John surgery with the exception of Kyle Loesch. So these guys have been through it before. What's the advice as you see a strikeout of Howard? And that is number 4 tonight for Carpenter. What's the advice that you've gotten from those guys and also other players around the league that have gone through Tommy John?
Well, the good thing about it is that you got 4 different perspectives, 5 different perspectives for me to go to and ask how their recovery went. So one guy, it might have been great, and another guy might have been really sore the whole time. And so I'll say, so for Carp, for instance, we know he had some struggles coming back with his nerve issues or whatnot, and my nerve was already moved like Jaime, so I can go to Jaime and say, Jaime, tell me a little bit about what you did coming back and how you felt, this and that. And the same with Kyle McClellan and Westbrook too. So there's lots of different things I can learn from those guys.
And you've seen that they've all come back. That's got to be a positive. I mean, just knowing that there's something on the other end.
Yeah, the success rate nowadays on average is at least 92%. So my odds of coming back strong are very good, and I promise Cardinal Nation I'm going to work my tail off to get back better than I was last year.
Well, I know people love to hear that, and you were outstanding a year ago and the year before that and the year before that and during the World Series year. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Placido Polanco. And a little check swing, he did go. You mentioned something really interesting there, and not to get too technical, but can you try to explain what you mean about the nerve moving and your Tommy John as opposed to, like what you said with Garcia, as opposed to others?
Yeah, a lot of times some surgeons move your ulnar nerve right away when they move your when they take your ligament out and put a different one in there, and some surgeons don't. My surgery itself, Dr. Paletta did an amazing job, and we felt like we needed to move the nerve at the same time. That just takes it adds a little bit of risk in your recovery, but at the same time it makes your recovery after the thing go really, really well. And so it gets the nerve out of the problem area where you got all that scar tissue and inflammation building up in there, and it moves it out of the way so it's in a safe place.
Amazing. It is pretty amazing, isn't it?
It's very amazing. I watched the surgery.
Did you really?
Yeah, they filmed it, and I watched it back, and it's crazy what they can do nowadays.